kids, husband. I think I came about fifth on the list after work. For example, my training buddy, I support her, she supports me. It's very equal, it's very positive, saying no to other people, and just standing my ground. Because I was a people pleaser, and I don't want to see people hurt and I don't want to see people unhappy, but I'm not going to put myself in a situation where it's detrimental to me anymore.
Welcome to Real People, Real Results, Real Change, the podcast that's dedicated to helping real people develop real health and fitness in their lives. Real people like you, business owners, professionals, house husbands and housewives, and students. I'm Stefan, I'm a personal wellness coach at UFit Studio, and I'll be your host. I'm talking today with Ruth Bentley, HR advisor and mum of two. In this episode, we discuss how she developed her confidence and fitness by learning to put herself first for the first time in her life, including surrounding herself with the right people and the right support. Okay, so Ruth, thanks so much for joining me. I guess, do you want to just summarise, kind of quickly for listeners, your job and what you're into at the moment?
Yeah, sure. I'm a HR consultant, so I work with many businesses and many clients with all of their HR issues, basically, and that can be quite interesting and challenging.
I can imagine, absolutely, right. Having said that, we're here to talk about yourself, right? Your health and fitness journey, and obviously we've spoken before a bit, right? Mm-hmm. But not in the level of detail we're going to talk today. So I'm really, really excited to, discover a little bit more about how you found fitness and how you've integrated it, right, into your life. And so. I don't know, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of where you were at before?
Yeah, sure. I've always been quite active. I've always been a member of a team. I used to play touch rugby, for example, before the kids and during the kids. When I was pregnant, I found a pregnancy baby class, which was amazing, really, really good. And I used that trainer for some time afterwards. And then I moved to another PT, and so health and fitness have always been, quite important to me. Yes. And they helped me get through managing kids and work life and all of that. Yeah. But I came to a bit of a sticking point, and then because I was getting the training, but everything else just wasn't kind of fitting right. So then I joined UFit.
So when you say everything else wasn't quite fitting right, what sort of components are you talking about?
So I had somebody helping me out with training, and that was working well, but then I was getting injured and the two weren't connecting. Okay. And then I got food, which wasn't brilliant at the time. Yeah. Lots of social activities as well. So it just wasn't gelling right. Okay.
Makes sense. Okay, so sorry.
I didn't realise till later though that it wasn't
really
gelling right. Yeah,
that's interesting. Right, right. So you just knew that you weren't making the progress.
No, I wasn't making the progress. No.
Okay, all righty. Okay, so yes, continue.
So yes, I then joined UFit. I'm not actually quite sure how I managed to do that. It just kind of, I don't know, call it a fate or something. But I ended up sitting down with Sam, nearly cancelled, but glad I didn't. And conversations, during the first few months and so were very, very different because I was looking at my nutrition, I was looking at my well-being, and Sam sat down with me and said, rate yourself and rate your priorities. So kids, husband, I think I came about fifth on the list after work. And he was like, right, put yourself first. And that took a bit of getting used to be perfectly honest, because I'd always put everybody else first. And, if I was, training, but something came up with the family, that would go on the back burner. Okay. So I started to put myself first, and that had a bit of a ripple effect outside, but also within me as well.
Okay. So, Fantastic. So let me just unpack this a little bit
Yeah.
with you. So just to backtrack a little bit and for listeners. So you've joined a fitness studio, and so you're still getting the personal coaching
Yes.
through that. It's not just a sort of a gym where you turn up and train. There's
No,
there's coaches there. They're
absolutely.
supporting you. Sam's head coach, right?
Yeah.
And they're engaging you with you, and so you have this sit down meeting or discussion, and you're looking at what you're prioritizing in your life, and you're fairly low down on the list.
Yes.
Okay. So what started to happen from there? Like, how do you start to switch that around? How do you start to switch that around?
I think it was, the gym is an extremely positive place, and you're surrounded by positive people all the time. And that was pretty much a revelation to me, because
Okay.
at the time I was a stay-at-home mum. I just started a new job, and the people at work were really positive as well. So I started subconsciously, I think, looking at my life a little bit differently initially. And then because you have the one-to-one sessions with your coach, you talk about what's going on in your life, where your blockages are, where your nutrition's not working. It's all a very holistic approach.
Right.
So things, I mean, Sam's kind of very intuitive. He'll look at me and say, something's not right, talk to me. So I did, and one of the huge battles I had was the social element. You know, we were at primary school parties with mums and dads, you know, with children the same age, and my nutrition was just spiralling out of control.
Okay.
And I talked to Sam about it, and he said, speak to Coach Helen, because I suppose the revelation for me was people didn't like the fact that I was actually grabbing hold of my fitness and my health and doing something for me.
Okay.
And, you know, step by step, little by little, my gym sessions were in the diary, non-negotiable. And that kind of, and I ended up doing a Tough Mudder with the gym, for example.
Right.
And I was training, and I was being really strict. I was sticking to a nutrition plan. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't going out as much. And friends were saying, come round, have a Prosecco, have a glass of champagne, you know, blah, blah, you're boring, you know,
Right.
come and join us.
Right.
And I was like, well, I'll come along, but I'm bringing my tea pigs with me. And I said to Helen, I just don't know how to deal with it, because they're making me feel really bad,
Yes.
really guilty.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't talk about the progress that I'm making. So
And they're coming from a good place, right? They you know, they're
Well,
wanting
yeah.
you to have fun, or that's how they feel, right? You know.
I think so, yes.
fair to
Yeah, at the time, I suppose because I was in that sort of bubble, it took me some time to realise that the people I was surrounding myself with weren't really good for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm not actually in touch with any of those people anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is, you know, I suppose that's quite interesting in itself.
Yeah. So, and what did it take to do that? That
Oh,
doesn't
it's
sound
painful.
easy.
It was painful, really, really painful.
Yeah.
I broke down so many times with Helen. I don't think I can do this. It's costing me my friends, my family. And we just worked through it step by step. And the more resolved I was with it, they finally came round. But, you know, it's the constant jibes and...
Really? Yeah. That's tough. And so how did you? So friends are important to you, right? Though, and that social life. So how did you change that? How did you switch things up?
I think because I'd started a new job, I became very close with quite a few colleagues, same sort of mindset. They've been through similar sorts of experiences to myself, very close to my sister. So I was beginning to develop a network outside of, you know, the mums group, so to speak. And I made some brilliant friends at the gym as well. I've got a training buddy now who is one of my best friends. You know, she's absolutely amazing. So it's been a transition. It's not been easy. I have felt lonely, but I've always had somebody I can talk to, and friends that I had years and years ago, that I worked with years and years ago, that have always been close friends.
Okay.
So I've always had some network.
Yeah.
So it's been okay to pull away from those people that weren't great for me.
Okay. And so where has that brought you to sort of, today?
In terms of...
So in terms of those friendships and that support and that side of things, like how are things today?
Well, I think, there's been a natural progression because the kids have moved schools, so, the contacts, drifted off. It's not been hostile or anything. Yeah. And I've started spending much more time with the people that I want to spend time with and that I feel I deserve to spend time with them now.
Okay, yeah. So, because this happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where the people we're mixing with are part of just where we are in life, and especially with kids, right? Because there's that natural progression in their development, also through the school system.
Yes.
and education and that side of it. So there was an element of kind of naturally dropping off as well, but you were already actively seeking that out because it wasn't supporting who you wanted to be.
Yes, yeah. I was withdrawing more and more as time was getting on, so it was a natural drop off, and now no contact. Well, if I see him I'll say hello, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. All righty. So what kind of support do you get now? Like how does that?
I get a huge amount of support from family. My mum and my sister are huge support. My training buddy is just fantastic, huge support. And I'm really lucky because I work with great colleagues, and they've got my back 100%. And I'm very lucky where I work as well because they're very into wellness and keeping yourself healthy and very supportive of, my time at the gym as well. I can work from the gym, it's brilliant.
Okay. So I guess that begs the question, what is wellness to you?
Wellness is, to me, I've just started a new challenge and I feel great. So wellness for me is that great feeling when you wake up and you've had a good night's sleep and your food and everything's aligning and you just feel unstoppable.
Okay.
And I woke up with that song in my head this morning, actually. So it was a nice... That's wellness to me. It's feeling comfortable with where I am at the minute, but knowing that I've got where I want to go.
Yeah. What kind of challenge are you doing?
I'm doing a 6-week challenge, which is focusing on nutrition because I haven't got enough lean muscle mass. I'm a bit fat. COVID was a big challenge for me. So it's getting back to where I was before COVID. So I'm being very compliant with meals. I'm really lucky because we've got meals planned for us. They're calorie controlled. And they are gorgeous. Okay. Really, really lovely. Okay. So I don't feel like I'm missing out either.
Okay, which is really important, right?
Yeah, it feels quite indulgent, actually.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so, all right, fantastic. So what are some of the takeaways? So obviously for people listening, in terms of that sort of side of your journey, and actually, so just rewinding again a little bit. So how do you start prioritizing yourself first? What does that look like because a lot of people are not in that habit, right? No. And you weren't in that habit before. No. And what sort of things make that happen?
Well, Sam said to me, and it was great advice, think of the tortoise and the hare. It's little steps. Let's keep you consistent. Let's bring in something that you can manage. So it was little things like, make sure if you're up first, you'll have a coffee on your own. Make some time for yourself. When the kids are in bed, have a bath. Get a babysitter in, go to the gym. So it was just little tweaks over quite a long period of time. Yes. And, to be fair, it's been a long journey. It doesn't happen overnight. I'm 6 years in and... I'm beginning to feel like I'm in a much better place, but it's hard work. Yeah.
So it's making that conscious effort.
Yeah.
To actually prioritise yourself a little bit, whether that's some relaxation, some comfort, some time for yourself, some time to catch your breath, to think and stuff like that. Yeah. Where making those opportunities and actually taking those opportunities instead of just using that time to, I guess, just focus on either, I don't know, whatever, like cleaning or cooking. Or, just or folding the laundry or all those kind of different things. But actually just taking that little bit of time, not indulgent.
No.
And it's not like saying I'm more important than anyone and that side of things, but it's just building those little bits into your life. So
absolutely. And it can be as simple as 10 minutes to walk the dog, or get out for 10 minutes, go to the shop, walk for 10 minutes, get outside. Just don't try and do too much at once, because then that will be overwhelming and you'll get the pushback. But you're pushing ever so slightly, and then it becomes more and more.
Okay. And what are some of the positive benefits of that you've noticed sort of over time?
Over time, I'm much more confident. That's taken a huge time for me to build my confidence back up. I think that's the biggest thing, because there are so many knock-on effects from having, that increased confidence. I think the thing for me as well is when you go into the gym, it's my safe place, because everybody, and this sounds crazy because I've never experienced anything like it before, but normally when you go into a gym, you've got people going, oh, look at me in the mirror, and chatting, and you kind of get the look up and down. And at this gym, everybody's so focused on their own goals, and they want you to succeed as well. I was in the changing room on Saturday, and one of the gym members said, "Oh, you're looking great. Well done for you. Not kind of trying to take you down a peg, or
not competitive.
Not competitive at all.
Okay.
It's not like, well, look at what I've done. It's not as good as what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's all very, very supportive. So I walk into the gym now and I don't feel self-conscious. I can get on with my workout. I know that everybody, call me Mauve because I go bright red when I'm training. That doesn't bother me anymore at all.
Yeah. So that's interesting. And so you're talking about YouFit Studio in Leicester?
Yes, I am,
right?
yes.
Not everyone has access to the studio, and often you're having to you have to use the facilities that are available to you, both within your means but also geographically available to you. So I guess if you're running a parallel journey where that wasn't part of your life, right? Maybe you're just going, you're going to a local gym, and it's not, maybe it has got some of those elements. People are a little bit competitive. It's not so supportive or friendly in that way. What do you think? How do you think you'd be approaching that now, given what you've sort of learned about being able to prioritise yourself more? Putting you on the spot there.
Yeah, that's a real tough one, because Sam and the coaches have been more than coaches. They've almost counselled me through some very difficult periods of my life. Okay. Not sure where I'd be without them, so I've been very lucky and very fortunate, and I've always put YouFit as my priority spend. That is my indulgence for the month. So for me, it's almost priceless now. But I think if I'd have had to have done it without YouFit, I'd have found it really tough. I'd have had to have gone, because I don't know anywhere else that has the whole package. There's loads of stuff online. There's good counsellors. There's good gyms. It would be a piecemeal approach, and I probably wouldn't be in the place I am today, if I'm honest.
But it sounds like what you're saying is the key is to find people who are on your side.
Absolutely.
And not to settle for less than that.
Absolutely.
To keep looking until you find the right people who are there to want you to be winning, and willing to, I guess, to put you first by the same. It sounds like you've been prioritised. And that's helped you to prioritise yourself.
Well, it feels like it's supportive.
Yeah.
For example, my training buddy, I support her, she supports me. It's very equal. It's very positive. It's a growth relationship in terms of we want each other to succeed, we want each other to do well. I think it's finding what works for you, and that can take many shapes. Some people like to do the online stuff with the gym. I mean, you can do that, outside of YouFit.
Yes.
So it's finding, what works for you.
Okay, perfect. All right, fantastic. Okay, well, we're going to be talking some more next episode. But in the meantime, thank you so much, Ruth.